I'm battling with Corphish!
Corphish!
Hi, I'm Professor Silver, and today I'll break down the history of Ash's Corphish, detailing his transformation from a witless brute into a brute with slightly more wits. Corphish officially debuted in the Ruby and Sapphire episode Gone Corphishin'. That said, he might have appeared 2 episodes earlier in Which Wurmple's Which. While it's unconfirmed if this was the same Corphish, his personality and living on Dewford Island, where Ash later caught him, strongly suggest it to be the case. Regardless of when Corphish first appeared, his debut took place during Ash's training for his rematch with Dewford Gym Leader Brawly. In Gone Corphishin', Corphish terrorized Ash and his friends for camping on his territory. Rather than let them be, he barreled through their campsite and stole all their food. Like others of his kind, Corphish was highly territorial. He could adapt to near any environment, even if it meant that he needed to drive out the environment's inhabitants. Despite Corphish's rudeness, Ash still wanted to catch him. That's because the Pokemon was strong enough to win Tug of War and quick enough to tunnel through sand. In pursuit of the capture, Ash battled the Water-type Corphish with both his Electric-type Pikachu and Grass-type Treecko. Opposite Pikachu, Corphish evaded Thunderbolt, landed Bubble Beam, launched a sneak attack, caught Iron Tail, and won out with a killer throw. Ironically, Corphish then lost to Treecko, a Grass type who knew no Grass type move. Treecko resisted Bubble Beam, preempted Crab Hammer, and won with Pound. By winning the battle, Treecko proved that Ash's concentration-based training was paying off in spades. It delighted Corphish to join Ash's team, but the ruffian Pokemon's aggressive personality and piggish nature made it hard for him to make friends. In the episode A Corphish Out of Water, he did himself no favors by throwing claws and eating all the gang's snacks. His obnoxiousness annoyed the gang's Pokemon, but Ash himself earned Corphish's friendship by rushing him to a Poke Center after the Pokemon ate too much rope. During the journey, Corphish learned to trust in Ash after Ash stood up to an army of Carvana. Once Corphish was back to full strength, he made further amends with Brock, May, and Max. Although Ash and his friends had come to love Corphish, it wasn't until the episode Turning Over a New Nuzleaf that Corphish finally befriended the gang's Pokemon. He bonded with them after they all got lost together. It's worth noting that they only got lost because Corphish awakened a sleeping Loudred and hit May's Silcoon into a river. Whilst lost, Corphish revealed himself as a helpful scamp whose good intentions often resulted in calamity. Of all the gang's Pokemon, Treecko was the one that was most annoyed by Corphish's antics. Treecko considered Corphish a major pain, but the two of them found common ground when they discovered a mutual enemy in Team Rocket. After the episode concluded, their rivalry persisted throughout the rest of the saga. Even though Corphish had made huge strides in making friends, he was still far from civil. As an example, he followed orders to beat Team Rocket in Seeing is Believing, but also gave Professor Birch a major bump. Moreover, in Ready, Willing, and Sableye, Corphish's loud personality severely tested the gang's patience. After he ruined the gang's lunch, Ash tried to scare some sense into him by taking him to an abandoned tunnel. Thanks to a mischievous Sableye that they met there, the adventure was full of fake ghosts, ghastly scares, and comedic mishaps. Ultimately, Corphish defended Sableye from Team Rocket at episode's end, signifying that he had slightly matured. He was still a jerk, but not as much as before. Because of Corphish's accomplishments during the Dewford adventures, Ash used him against Brawly's fighting types in the episode Just One of the Geysers. In almost no time at all, Corphish defeated the gym leader's Machop using Bubble Beam and Crab Hammer. Regrettably, the same can't be said about the man's Hariyama. Hariyama defeated Corphish by utilizing Arm Thrust and Seismic Toss. For the rest of the Hoenn saga, Corphish provided laughs as comic relief and fought in many battles. Unfortunately, his performance was entirely inconsistent. In some episodes, he was portrayed as a powerhouse, and in others, he lost like a simple jobber, barely lasting more than a few hits. For example, he struggled against Tommy's Swampert in Abandoned Ship and Joy's Torchic in Having a Wailord of a Time. However, he defended Ash from Mightyena in the Spiel of Approval and thwarted Team Rocket in a Pokeblock Party. Furthermore, in the episode What You Seed is What You Get, Corphish tied with Natasha's Slugma while fighting alongside Treecko in a double battle. Slugma and its Grovyle partner were far better coordinated than Ash's Pokemon, but Corphish blocked their advances and offered ample protection to Treecko. Sometimes in the anime, Corphish was portrayed as so powerful that he didn't know his own strength. By way of example, in the episode Candid Camerupt, he one-shotted VS Marill, not realizing Max wanted him to go easy. Luckily for Ash, Corphish's immense strength worked to his favor at the Lava Ridge Gym in the episode Going Going Yawn. To start off the battle, Corphish beat Gym Leader Flannery's Magcargo by landing Bubble Beam, tanking Flamethrower, overcoming Double Team, and using Crab Hammer. When Flannery's next Pokemon, Slugma, dominated Corphish using Smog, Yawn, and Flamethrower, he took a break until Ash needed his help against Torkoal. Corphish initially did poorly as he entered the battle asleep, but turned things around after getting woken up by Overheat and Flamethrower. Torkoal tried to maintain the lead by blocking Vice Grip, landing Sludge Bomb, and resisting Crab Hammer, but in the end, Corphish dizzied the Fire type and won with Bubble Beam. Following the gym battle, Corphish tried to defeat Poncho's Ludicolo in the episode Go-Go Ludicolo. He volunteered to battle because he was jealous of all the attention received by Ash's newly evolved Grovyle. Due to Corphish's being consumed by jealousy, he missed all his attacks and fell to Hyper Beam. Though it depressed him to lose, he wasn't sad long, as Poncho helped him realize that his power was appreciated no matter his size. With his confidence restored, Corphish returned to support Ash in his battling endeavors. He beat the Pokemon of Petalburg trainers in a double dilemma, trained with Swellow, Brock's Lombre, and Brock's Mudkip in Judgment Day, fell to a wild Armaldo in Where's Armaldo, and fought alongside Skitty against a pair of Nidos in the Bicker the Better. Regrettably, he and Skitty lost the match as Ash and May bickered all throughout the battle. Neither trainer wanted to take responsibility for the loss, so they respectively teamed up with James and Jesse for a follow-up. Once Ash and May came to their senses and Corphish got to show off his Bubble Beam, the Pokemon provided Team Rocket a major beating. Helping bring Ash and May together was one of only many things that Corphish did to offer support in Hoenn. He also helped retrieve Ash's badges by way of Jettison in Whiscash and Ash, ruined a rocket theft in It's Still Rocket Roll to Me, helped stop the flooding of Riado Town in Absolute Disaster, chased the snow runt that Ash would later capture in Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow Runt, scared off a Dawn fan in Date Expectations, and taste-tested berries in Very, Very Interesting. Notwithstanding Corphish's helpfulness, his incessant desire to eat sometimes resulted in the bullying of others. In a Shroomish skirmish, for instance, his theft of May's Torchic's food led to crying and fighting. Interestingly, when the two got lost, Corphish revealed he held no actual ill will. He was just a jerk that liked to eat. Not only did he try to lead Torchic back to May, but he also protected the Pokemon from wild advances. In the end, Torchic's friendship, evolution, and eventual defense of his food led Corphish to realize the error of his ways. Beyond learning humility along his journey, Corphish also learned about heartbreak. In the episode Once in a Mawile, he fell in love with a Mawile who only had eyes for Brock's Lombre. Getting rejected deeply pained Corphish, but he recovered thanks to Brock's tutelage. Brock taught him both the way of women and the beauty of mariachi. Sometime after Corphish's emotional crisis, he upstaged Grovyle at the Sootopolis Gym in the episodes The Great 8 Fate and 8 Ain't Enough. At the start of the gym battle, Corphish varied Pikachu against Gym Leader Juan's Seaking and Sealeo, blocked Ice Ball, and feinted Sealeo. Later on in the battle, Corphish did what Grovyle couldn't and beat Juan's Luvdisc. Luvdisc dodged Bubble Beam and landed Water Gun, but Corphish brought it to the surface, led off Vice Grip, and won with Crab Hammer. Sadly, the ruffian couldn't replicate his success against Juan's Whiscash. Although Corphish tried his best, Whiscash beat him using Surf and Rock Smash. At the Hoenn League, Corphish further outshined his rival Grovyle by getting significantly more wins. Starting in the episode From Brag to Riches, Corphish proved to be a formidable force. In the first of his 4 league battles, he teamed up with Torkoal to face Dominic's Tropius and Swalot. Swalot initially gave Corphish a tough time with Shockwave and Body Slam, but Corphish sent it flying, tanked Shadow Ball, stormed through Shockwave, and won with Bubble Beam. Later on, during the first round of the league's victory tournament, in the episode of Judgment Brawl, Corphish pummeled Katie's Golduck. Golduck nearly stole his luster by blocking his opener, unleashing Hydro Pump, and inducing confusion. At fight's end, however, Corphish fought like a drunken sailor, landed Crab Hammer, caught Fury Swipes, and triumphed with one last strike. After a brief rest, he fell to a body slam from Katie's Walrein. Going into Ash's top 16 battle with Morrison, Corphish took major advantage of Morrison's hesitancy to battle his friend. Using Crab Hammer, Corphish feinted both Morrison's Girafarig and his Growlithe. It wasn't until Morrison started to fight earnestly in the episode Choose It or Lose It that Corphish finally faced a real challenge. Opposite Swampert, he traded Crab Hammer for Focus Punch, Bubble Beam for Hydro Pump, and another Crab Hammer for another Focus Punch. Although the intensity of the attacks resulted in a tie, Corphish had more than done his job in defeating half of Morrison's team. After Ash knocked Morrison out of the tournament, he battled Tyson in the quarterfinals. During the match, which took place in the episode at the end of the fray, Corphish unfortunately fell to a single Focus Punch from Tyson's Hariyama. It was a bummer that he didn't last longer, but his performance in all his other battles proved that he was possibly stronger than even Squirtle. Regardless of which of the two Pokemon was stronger, following Ash's loss to Tyson, Corphish visited Oak's lab and met Kingler in the right place and the right mind. Rather than stay at Oak's lab, as is customary at the end of a saga, Corphish joined Ash on his quest to conquer the battle frontier. While there, he played a large role in many of Ash's battles. Kicking off the saga in the episode Hooked on Onyx, Corphish feuded with May's Munchlax, faced off with her Squirtle, bonded with Pikachu, and beat off Beedrill. As the saga continued, he also played with his friends and blasted Registeel in Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, danced with Brock in Strategy Tomorrow, Comedy Tonight, babysat an Azurill in Off the Unbeaten Path, and battled a Crawdaunt in the episode on Olden Pond. After losing to said Crawdaunt, Corphish trained with Old Woman Galia's Vaporeon to bolster his abilities. During the training, he opened with Crab Hammer, but ultimately lost the match as Vaporeon used Acid Armor, Quick Attack, and Hydro Pump. Overall, Galia and Vaporeon helped Corphish learn to better adapt to his surroundings. By the time of his rematch with Crawdaunt, he was fully capable of using his environment to its best advantage. At battle's start, Corphish traded Crab Hammer and Bubble Beam with his evolved form. After Corphish followed things up by dodging Vice Grip, he connected with Crab Hammer, deflected another Vice Grip, and fired off one last Crab Hammer. Although he was only seconds away from winning the battle, Team Rocket disrupted it before it concluded. Disappointingly, the writers didn't use Corphish's fight with his final form to explain why he never evolved. In the fandom, many believe that Corphish didn't evolve because the writers didn't want to give Ash a Dark type. Personally, I think the lack of evolution was a big mistake. Corphish loves power, so evolving would align with his wish to win every battle. Furthermore, evolution would have lowered the power divide that had massively grown between him and Sceptile. Regardless of why Corphish didn't evolve, he made for an awesome addition against Frontier Brain Tucker in the episode Tactics Theatrics. Alongside Swellow, he battled the trainers Arcanine and Swampert. Tucker's team established an early lead, as they were experts in Devil battling. The two of them opened the battle with epic combinations using moves like Extreme Speed, Protect, Aerial Ace, Water Gun, Dynamic Punch, and Fire Blast. Soon after using those moves, they created a tornado of torment with Water Pulse and Fire Blast. Flamethrower and Water Gun followed up the combination, but Corphish blocked the blast, allowing Swellow to hit Arcanine. After Corphish and Swellow took to the air, they extinguished Fire Blast and triumphed using Quick Attack, Crab Hammer, and Aerial Ace. By winning the battle, they earned Ash the Tactic symbol. Corphish's next Frontier battle took place against Frontier Brain Annabelle's Alakazam in the episode Talking a Good Game. Unfortunately, things didn't go too well. Alakazam threw Corphish for a loop, repelled Bubble Beam, sensed his location, landed Focus Punch, countered Crab Hammer, and won with Psybeam. Because Ash then lost the match, Corphish got the chance to redeem himself in the rematch in the episode Second Time's the Charm. The rematch went much better. Although Alakazam stopped Crab Hammer, deflected Bubble Beam, intercepted Vice Grip, and activated Recover, Corphish dodged its subsequent usage of Focus Punch and landed a second Crab Hammer. Even after he got confused by Psybeam, Corphish refused to quit. Rather than give up then and there, he connected with another Crab Hammer, hopped back into his Pokeball in order to alleviate his confusion, and seized the win with Bubble Beam. Regrettably, defeating Alakazam in such an epic manner left him totally exhausted. His next opponent, Metagross, finished him off by dodging Bubble Beam and landing Meteor Mash. Since Pikachu won the battle thereafter, Ash was none the worse for wear. Corphish didn't fight in any of Ash's other Frontier challenges, but he did compete in a tournament in the old Berate and Switch. Opposite competitor Howie's Pinsir in the first round, he dodged Vice Grip and nearly fell to Seismic Toss. Eventually, however, he repelled Guillotine with Harden, used Bubble Beam, and won with Crabhammer. In another round of the tournament, Corphish disarmed competitor Ariba's Marowak and beat it with Crabhammer. Had Butch and Cassidy not disrupted the tournament, it's likely Corphish would have won it all. As a testament to Corphish's inconsistency throughout the series, his last battle of the saga was one of loss and hardship. In the episode Overjoyed, Nurse Joy's Chansey defeated him using Double Slap, Double Edge, and Solar Beam. After losing to Chansey, Corphish went to live at Oak's lab alongside the rest of Ash's reserves. He returned for the Sinnoh League in an old family blend, but didn't appear in any battle. Instead, all he did was get lost, hang with Totodile, and fight Team Rocket. His next appearance in the black and white episode The Dream Continues involved little more than appearing in Ash's team photo. Similarly, Sun and Moon offered Corphish nothing more than a brief cameo alongside Totodile in the episode Alola Kanto. It's in Journeys that Corphish truly started to make an impact on the series again. Starting in Advice to Go, he featured whenever Ash visited Oak's lab. Notably, in Friends, Rivals, Lend Me Your Spirit, he helped train Ash's Pokemon for the Masters 8 and hung out with Kingler. During the Masters 8 itself, Corphish cheered for Ash, appeared in Pikachu's vision, and celebrated Ash's victory. Following Ash's becoming world champion, Corphish rejoined his team as a rotating reserve in the episode A Faded Face-Off. Upon rejoining Ash, Corphish immediately resumed all his fun-filled antics. In fact, the first two things he did upon getting released from his Pokeball were knock his friends into the water and go for a leisurely swim. The third thing he did was develop a rivalry with a wild Clauncher that both Ash and Misty wanted to capture. Together, the two Pokemon scuffled, fought Team Rocket, and hinted towards possible romantic interest. Ash wanted to catch Clauncher for Corphish's sake, but ultimately failed in the endeavor as Misty beat him in battle. Clauncher demanded that only the winner of their match was worthy of owning him. The battle was a callback to the best of three that Ash and Misty partook in when they fought over Totodile. During the showdown, Misty's Politoed redeemed itself for losing to Bulbasaur all those years ago. As an opener, Politoed dodged Crabhammer, landed Bounce, and let off Focus Blast. In retaliation, Corphish shrugged off Focus Blast with Metal Claw, put on the pressure with Aqua Jet, climbed Hydro Pump, and let off Crabhammer. Unfortunately, Politoed won in the end as it intercepted the assault and hit Corphish with Mega Punch. By losing the battle, Corphish lost Clauncher for Ash, provided Ash his first loss against Misty, and gave Ash his first post-Masters 8 loss. Although Corphish cried profusely at the loss, he rebounded after being consoled by Ash and Clauncher. Clauncher encouraged Corphish to keep fighting and win the next time around. All in all, Corphish's return was a great showcase of his personality, but woefully, it also served to show how his power was highly inconsistent. Hopefully, he'll continue to travel with Ash and get ever stronger so that he never loses again. As that concludes Corphish's history to date, let's get to his battle record. Corphish won against Ash's Pikachu, Jesse's Cascoon, James's Cacnea, Jesse's Seviper, Brawly's Machop, Flannery's Magcargo, Flannery's Torkoal, Vivi's Marill, Juan's Sealeo, Juan's Luvdisc, Dominic's Swalot, Katie's Golduck, Morrison's Girafarig, Morrison's Growlithe, Tucker's Arcanine, Annabelle's Alakazam, Howie's Pinsir, and Ariba's Marowak. He lost to Ash's Treecko, Brawly's Hariyama, Tommy's Swampert, Poncho's Ludicolo, Andy's Nidoqueen, Oscar's Nidoking, a wild Armaldo, Juan's Whiscash, Katie's Walrein, Tyson's Hariyama, Mr. Saradakis' Crawdaunt, Galea's Vaporeon, Annabelle's Alakazam, Annabelle's Metagross, Nurse Joy's Chansey, and Misty's Politoed. Lastly, Corphish tied with Natasha's Slugma and Morrison's Swampert. Move-wise, Corphish used Aqua Jet, Bubble Beam, Crabhammer, Harden, Metal Claw, and Vice Grip. Corphish is hilarious. I love his comedic timing, brutish personality, and self-centeredness. Besides Oshawott, there's possibly no other Pokemon on Ash's team that's more devious. What I dislike about Corphish is that he had almost no consistency when it came to battling. He excelled at the Hoenn League and Battle Frontier, but lost too many other battles to be considered as strong as Weasel. That Corphish lost to Politoed is honestly really infuriating. Not to be petty, but I didn't wait 25 years for Ash to be the very best just to see him lose to Misty. Beyond winning more often, I think Corphish could have been improved as a character had the writers evolved him into Crawdaunt. By becoming Ash's first Dark type, Corphish would have gained a differentiated moveset, a massive boost in attack power, and an attribute that made him totally different from any of his predecessors. With all that being said, at the end of the day, no matter Corphish's faults, he still made watching Ruby and Sapphire way more fun. And on that note, class is adjourned. I'm Professor Silver. Until next time, catch you later.